Hey, it's a great day in every way. Let me ask you something. Have you ever started your day out and you wondered how you became the best at what you do? You wondered about how along your journey, even though you've had a lot of hardship and sometimes separation from others, you were able to thrive. Well, I have a person today that's going to come to you and share some amazing information with you about her books because her books are booming. And your books in your life should be booming too. And she's going to help you do just that. So, as we begin the show, Books to Boom Your Business, I want to say hello to many of you that are joining us all around the world. I'm your show host, Dr. Lotus Riché, and I'm bringing you books that's going to help your business boom. So as you come in, go ahead and share this broadcast out with people that you know, like, trust, and care about. And as I say on the Lotus Riché Ignite show, don't just tell your friends, but tell your frenemies too, as we get ready to give them some great information that's going to help them boom in their business, going to help them boom in their life, in the way they think, in the way they feel, and even in their spiritual walk. So, with no further ado, the next voice I'm going to be bringing to you is my sensational guest, Dr. Maxine Bryant. Now, many of you may have seen her on the Lotus Riché Ignite show, and she is a stellar speaker. She's a stellar author, and she travels all around the world, and she does things just like TED Talks. And maybe some of you have seen her in her amazingly powerful TED Talk that moved the masses into doing better things with their life. And I always like to bring people that do just that. And so today, you're going to get to meet none other than Dr. Maxine Bryant. We'll be right back. Please welcome cultural keeper, TEDx speaker, and author, Dr. Maxine L. Bryant. Woohoo! Welcome to the show, Dr. Maxine. Bryant is in the house. How are you doing? And welcome to Books to Boom Your Business.
I am wonderful, and it is good to see you again, Dr. Lotus Riché. It is always a joy to connect with you, kindred spirits here. I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. Well, Doc, you know I'm here at the Fisher House. They're taking care of us while Dad is in the hospital healing his body. But nevertheless, we are still here today. And I want to thank you for joining me while I'm on travel. So I had to take my little lanyard off, y'all. It was almost getting me. It was getting me. So with that shared, Dr. Bryant, you know about tough times in life. And you know about great times in life because you're always doing great things. And today we're going to talk about your book because your book is a huge part of how you've succeeded, how your family members have succeeded, and how we look forward to our guests to also succeed. So, Dr. Bryant, I've shared a little bit about you because I want to spend more time talking about you. Okay, so if you would give our guests a little bit more about yourself, and then we're going to start things to booming. Dr. Bryant, go ahead.
So my journey has been quite interesting, to say the least, from birth into a family that was deep in rooted in poverty and violence and addiction, to being adopted and going through a lot of self-esteem issues, some trauma, self-inflicted trauma, even in my own life, bad decisions, poverty in my own life where I had to file bankruptcy and just made a lot of bad, well, not a lot, but some bad financial decisions, to where now I am successful, right? What I have often shared with people is that when I was in high school, among my friends, there were some people who informally voted me as least likely to succeed because I didn't care about high school then. I was getting high. I was doing all kinds of things and concentrating on studies and trying to be the best that I can be was not in my purview at all at that time in my life. But look at me now. You know, I just look at God, and really what I say is that I stand in awe of God, because it is only through him that I'm able to be the me that I am today.
Who I told y'all she was coming with fire. So if you already liking what Dr. Maxine Bryant is saying, go ahead and put a number 5 in the chat, because I got to tell you, a lot of times, Dr. Bryant, people are not very transparent about some of their experience, but you are so transparent. So many people around the world have made bad decisions. Some people have filed bankruptcy. Some people have done some things that they're not proud of in their life, but lo and behold, they were able to change their life and become the men and women and children, because our young people are doing some amazing things all around the world that they are today. And so I'd like to get right into your book. And so if you would, go ahead and tell everybody the title of your book and tell them more about the story behind the book and how it came about.
It's an amazing story. So, to give you some insight, my birth certificate, my original birth certificate, said infant Peoples. I was born to Charles and Dorothy Peoples. Right? And they were alcoholics. They already had 5 children that they could not take care of. The family was ripe with poverty. They were living in roach and rat infested homes. My father would not keep a job, could not, would not. And the doctors had told my mom while she was pregnant with me that I was going to be a sickly child. And they didn't have the money to take care of the 5 children they had, let alone a 6th child who was going to be sickly. Now, at the same time, there was Rufus and Leona Taylor. They had, get this, 17 miscarriages, right? Wow. They had been trying to have a baby. Charles Peoples knew Rufus Taylor through a work situation, and they arranged for a private adoption. I lived with my birth family for about 3 months because my adoptive mother wanted to make sure my birth mother wouldn't change her mind at some point. And that gave my birth mother an opportunity to realize that she really could not handle a 6th child. And here's the point of it. It gave my older 2 sisters, Dee Dee and Victoria, an opportunity to play with me, to change my diapers, to feed me, to interact with me. And that becomes really important because my mother told them not to tell anybody that she had had a child and given it up for adoption. That was a secret. But Vicky and Dee Dee remembered. And so even after my adoption, they told my other siblings, who were very much too young to remember, about me. And that's important because family never forgot about me. My birth family never forgot, right? So I was able to leave the family and be raised as an only child. Now that's important because at 60, I came into a family of there were 3 sisters who were living at that time, but I was an only child for 60 years. So I don't know sibling rivalry. I don't know interaction between sisters. I got good friends and I had some sister friends, but I didn't have any blood sisters, any blood relatives. So that was an awakening for me. But at any rate, with the book, what I'm able to do is to weave each of their stories. I had my sisters to write down their stories from the time, the earliest memories, even of me as a baby, and until now. And I interwove those stories together. The other thing is that one of my brothers, both of my brothers are deceased, but one of them began writing his own memoir prior to his death, and his widow gave me his writings. So I was able to infuse his writing. His name is Chuck, or Charles Jr. I was able to infuse his writing. Now, the book goes chronologically because we follow us as we grow up, but it's also geographical. And this is what I mean. My younger sister, Bertie, and I were both born in Indianapolis, Indiana. about 2 years after my birth, my father almost stabbed my mother to death. Remember, I said it was a very volatile family, right? And my mother left my father finally, moved the kids to Ohio, where her parents were and where her in laws lived. Well, after a certain period of time, my older sister got married at about 16 and moved to Flint shortly thereafter with her husband, Flint, Michigan. When Bertie was 16, by then our birth mother had died. Bertie moved to Flint, Michigan to be with that particular sister. Eventually, Victoria and Chuck moved to Michigan. Victoria was in Detroit. Chuck moved to Flint. I moved to Saginaw, Michigan in my early 20s, my late 20s. I was 30 miles away from my birth family and had no clue. Well, then, shortly after that, my birth family, the ones who were living, moved to Georgia. They moved to Atlanta. So that was Bertie and Victoria. Victoria moved first, I think, Bertie, Chuck, and eventually Dee Dee. They all moved to Atlanta. Well, guess where I moved to? Savannah, Georgia. Right? So now I'm within a 4-mile drive of my family. And so in 2019, I decided to use Ancestry DNA to look up my family. I'd heard good things. I'd heard some bad things. My son, who was probably about 35, 34 at the time, he was like, Mom, don't be trusting that DNA stuff. You know, they get your DNA, they can clone you or whatever. Girl, I'm so glad I did not listen to my son. But it was scary because what if my family rejected me? What if they didn't want to know? What if they didn't know anything about me? I didn't know, right? I submitted the DNA, I got my results, and I was related to somebody named Messiah Triplet. Now, remember, I was thinking Peoples. Well, that's not her last name, but she's obviously related to me through DNA. So I looked her up. She didn't answer my response on the site, the Ancestry site. So I looked her up on Facebook. And for any of you who say Facebook is Mahoney or, Malogany or don't use Facebook, girl, Facebook is what connected me to my family, right? So I looked at Facebook. I tried to find Messiah there. She didn't answer. So I looked for individuals with the last name Peoples. Because remember, that's all I had. I knew my last name was Peoples. And I found that there was a Bertie Peoples, there was a Victoria Peoples, there was a Valerie Peoples, and there was some other Peoples. So I reached out to Bertie and Victoria. I just chose them randomly, right? And I was looking for individuals who liked Messiah's pictures with the last name Peoples. I was being very methodical. I'm a researcher, I'm a professor, so I got to do things very methodically. So I did that. And neither one of them responded initially on Facebook. So then I messaged them and I said, I think we're related. I told them the year I was born and where I was born. Victoria, about 2 weeks later, happened to read her messages, and reached back out to me. And that's how we were connected. And I found out that Messiah is my great niece. That she is Bertie's daughter's daughter. So she's Bertie's granddaughter. And we all met up in Macon, Georgia, like halfway between Atlanta and Savannah that August. And then for Labor Day weekend, I went and we had a fantastic reunion. Now, gotta say one more thing. Have you ever thought about wondering who you look like? Like all my life, I wondered who I looked like. I didn't look like my adoptive parents. We, Black folks come in all shades. They happen to be dark, fair skin. So I'm like, who I look like? I don't know who I look like. Girl, if I don't look like my mama, and I'm finding out characteristics, attributes that I had. Like my mama had a temper, right? My mama, my brother Chuck says she could start it and she could end it. And all my life, I had this explosive temper that I had to learn how to control. And now I know where I get it from. I get it from Dorothy Peoples. I get it, honestly.
I hear you. That's amazing.
So
So
that's
listen,
just about the book in a nutshell.
wow, that's amazing. So listen, folks, y'all already know when you get this book, you are going to go on a journey that's going to impact, empower, and move your life in a different way. Because I have a very similar story in that my cousin was adopted, and the adoptive parents weren't supposed to take her out of the state. And 50 some odd years after she had been taken out of the state, she began to look for us similarly to how you looked for her, for your family. And she found her cousin is my cousin. And
Wow.
she told my cousin Fruity, that's her nickname. She told my cousin Fruity, and my cousin said, "Well, you can call my cousin and ask her," which was my mom. And sure enough, we were related. But by then, her mom had passed, which was my mother's sister. And you know, Facebook and other social media apparatuses, these things are really helping us, and they can be used in good ways, and of course, they can be used in bad ways. But it really changed our dynamic. And her name is Yvonne Taylor Reed. That's my cousin. She and I flew together, and it was her first ever flight when she flew to New Jersey to be with the family. But the first time our family met her, when my mom found out, she called me on the phone, and then my mom, my aunt, my cousin, they all came down, and then I drove them from Atlanta, drove them down to Macon, and they were able to meet her. I don't know what's going on with Macon. I think it's in Macon, yeah. But anyway, that I love what you're sharing, because people need to know this, because we have a lot of people out there who are adopted, and sometimes they feel like, well, why was I left behind, or I wasn't loved, or what have you. But you know, we our hearts are with you. And for those of you that are out there, if you were adopted and you're looking for your birth parents, we're going to be coming back doing some shows periodically. So if you're looking for your birth parents, or if you have a child that's out there and you're looking for them, Books to Boom Your Business, the Lotus Riché Ignite Show, also will also help you to connect. So Doc, I love what you're sharing. I want to go ahead and talk to some of the folks in our audience. They're coming in from all around the world. We got a lot of fives. They're loving what you're sharing. Let us know where you're coming in from. I see some folks from the Philippines, from Atlanta, Georgia. I see Miss Birdie in the house. Miss Birdie in the house. Y'all put some tens in the comments. Miss Birdie's in the house. I see Shirley. She's in the house. I see Miss Yana's in the house. She's coming out of. Let us know where y'all coming out of so I can shout y'all out. Okay, Shirley, I see you. R. Graham, I see you in the house.
Wendy.
Anthony Burr. All right, Rosemary, the family is in the house today. Aurea, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm
All
not,
right.
please thank you for love. All right, all right, all right, all right. We got you in the house. Okay, and don't forget, I put this in the chat. Be sure to get her book, Finding Peoples, because that Finding Peoples may help you find your peoples. All right, so make sure you do that. Author, I see you. You're in the house. Laella is in the house. Miss Cross is not getting it crossed up. She is getting it right. She said Dr. Bryant is an amazing woman with an amazing story. You said that. And Miss Laverne is in the house. Miss Laverne Haynes Collins. I like that. Multicultural mindset. You said it, the multicultural mindset. We see you, and that's her business. Y'all make sure y'all connect with her as well. And let's see who else we have in house. Maurice is in the house. Maurice is in the house, coming in from Ghana. Great to see you in the house today. Ghana's in the house. All right, Miss Elaine is in the house. Elaine Cotton, we see you. Catherine is in the house out of the Philippines. Elaine Cotton, let us know where you at. Iowa is in the house. Anthony Claiborne, he is in the
Oh, I gotta jump in.
house. Jump in.
Girl. So after I found my family, my son had not had a chance to meet him. My son lives in Seattle now, and he was going to be in Atlanta, and so the family had a birthday party for him, and he got a chance to meet his blood on my side of the family, his blood aunts and cousins and all of that. It was right around Christmas time. His birthday is December 12th. But when I got back to to Savannah, I got a message from Anthony Claiborne talking about, I believe you're my aunt. I'm like, what? He had gone through Ancestry DNA. His wife had bought him a kit, And he is
Yes.
our deceased brother's son. And our brother Dennis died even though he had a son. So I added Anthony's story to the book too.
Awesome. So, Anthony, you've got to come on the show. Books to Boom Your Business. You got to be one of our guests. We want to hear your story. We want to hear your story. So, Anthony,
It's
if you're willing to
amazing.
come on the show, go ahead and put a 20 in the comment. Put a 20 in the comment, and we're going to reach out to you and bring you on the show. And we got Costa Rica in the house. Costa Rica's in the house. We see you, Miss Collins, doing your thing. Everybody, please go ahead and share this out, share this broadcast out, because it started off juicy already, but now we're about to turn up the fire once we get back to this story. Katina, we see you. Anthony, we see you. And we're trying to just get all of you guys, and there's people streaming from all over the world. So if we don't get to bring your name up, know that we love you, and let us know where you're streaming in from. Okay, Miss Hilton says, hey, Dr. Maxine, me and Lauren are watching. Hey, Lauren, thank you for being here. And thank you, Miss Hilton, for sharing. And Florida is in the house. That's what we're talking about. So y'all, wherever you're streaming in from, put it in the chat. Seattle is in the house.
Oh, that's my son. That is my son. Will Bryant, yes.
Will, you got to come on the show with your mom. You got to come on the show with your mom. I know it's going to be fire. Katina said, my favorite mentor. I love Dr. Bryant. Dr. Yolanda Washington is in the house from Savannah. Hey, Dr. Yolanda, we're so happy to have you. And keeping it real. That's right, is in Michigan. Thank you for joining us from Michigan. So many folks in the house, and we're going to try to up everybody. Atlanta's in the house. JP, we see you. Elaine Cotton, we see you in the house. Wanda Cox, we see you. And so listen, for those of you that's joining us today, if you have a story or if you're in this book, we want to reach out to you and definitely have you on one of our segments, because one thing that Dr. Bryant is doing is Birdie is in the house. Hey, Birdie. One thing that she is doing is she is opening up doors for so many people, not only just to better themselves, but to find their people. And Dr. Lotus Riché is working on Books to Boom Your Business and the Lotus Riché Ignite Show and news you can use to help you find your people. So this is a mission, and we want you to be a part of the mission. So Doc, we're going right back to you. And I see so many people tuning in because this is an important topic. And for someone to write about this journey, I know it couldn't have been easy. So what inspired you to write about this particular journey?
When I met my sisters, amazingly, even though we were not brought up in the same family, there were some similarities in our characteristics and even in our choices in life. And I began to recognize that there is nurture and there is nature. Now, we were nurtured differently, quite differently, right? Like worlds apart in terms of nurturing and how we were nurtured. My adoptive mother wasn't a warm and fuzzy kind of woman, right? But I get the impression that my mom let her children know in uncertainty that they were loved, right? And hugging and kissing them, she told them, they're family, you all you got, right? But I knew I was loved. It was just demonstrated differently. What I think is interesting is that our natures are so very similar. Now here, get this. I was raised in a very strict religious, I think some of the people who were on knew me as a child. I was raised up in a very strict religious environment. There was no alcohol. I was raised in a dry environment, right? No alcohol. So then when I became a teenager, I began to get this urge for alcohol. And I found out I liked it. I really, really liked it. And it was like an unquenchable thirst. And I remember even as a teenager, realizing that I liked it so much, I needed to limit myself to 2 drinks. I can't tell you other than that was just God, right? I began just limiting my drinks to 2. And even today, that still holds for me. And if I had not done that, I know without a doubt, I would have traveled the same path my brothers and sisters travel in terms of addiction. Chuck talks honestly about his addiction. So does Birdie in her story, and so does Victoria, right? They
Right.
talk about their addictions to drug and alcohol. I, only God stopped me and said, you need to stop it too. And I can remember,
Yeah.
hopefully my son can remember, telling he and my daughter, and I didn't have the verbiage to know how to say it, but I remember telling my daughter in particular that we had addictive personalities and that she
Yes.
needed to stay away from drugs. And I believe I
Mhm.
told my son the same thing. I didn't know how to explain it. I hadn't gone to school to study that at that point. But wanting to understand, after I met my family, that nurture and nature, that was a impetus for me. And their stories were so amazing to me, the similarities as well as the differences. I thought, we got to put this in book form. Right. And I know
Yeah.
there are a lot of people with similar stories that have written similar books. I had to do some research to be able to try to get a publishing house company to publish ours, right? I had to look at books that were very similar. I'm sure you know the drill. So I
Of
know
course.
that there are a lot of stories out there, but what makes ours unique, one, is that we're Black, okay? And then the other thing is that we all are so very transparent. Now, in the book, it would look like we have four different narratives because there are four stories. My four
Right.
siblings, well, really five stories, four siblings and myself, right? Um, but what I do is I weave and I interweave it. So, and I'm the the connector between the
Mhm.
chapters and
Yes.
between the different parts. So I'm the narrator, if you will, who's
Right.
connecting the stories and letting the reader know where the similarities are. And I'm silent in the chapter where my birth mom dies because I don't know her. I
Right.
didn't know her, so you don't hear my voice there. But throughout
Right.
the book, I am
Mhm.
introducing all of the different segments and the
Right.
themes, the thematic themes that are prevalent in the book. So I think ours is a unique presentation of maybe an old familiar story.
That's wonderful. Wow. I just can't thank you enough for sharing that. And I see folks streaming just in from all over the world. I see you out of Rex, Georgia. I see Iowa in the house and Philippines in the house and Africa in the house. Just so many people because this story is a pervasive story that really impacts people all around the world. And so I'd like to take a moment, everybody, because we want to make sure that if you have any questions out there for us, we want you to share that. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to give you the opportunity to ask um, Dr. Maxine a question. Because, Dr. Maxine, a lot of times people feel alone and they feel like, well, why was I giving up? Or why did my life go this way? But Doc, you have taken that the journey and you've turned it into something miraculously powerful from your TED Talks to your books to working all around the world. You have done something that others can do if they have the support. So, with that, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back. We want to invite you all to the show as well to be here on the next segment. But here's a word from one of our previous guests.
Who am I? I am Rachel Wright Labus, and I am a truth seeker. And if you're just like me, you're a seeker of truth, then you don't want to miss Lotus Riché. Join me because she will ignite your mind.
Awesome, fantastic. And so we want to ignite your mind and we want to ignite your spirit and we want to ignite your body to move into action and to continue to discover your best self. So, Doc, as you were talking, um, we had a couple things pop up. And one of the things was trust yourself. And now I know your son said, Mom, don't do that. And I was feeling that way. Okay. We transparent on the Books to Boom Your Business show, right? And I was saying, no, I don't want to do that because, I don't want them harvesting my DNA. But truth be told, when you're born, they harvesting your DNA from day one. Actually, I digress. Before you set your little itty bitty feet on the planet, they're already harnessing and grabbing your information, your DNA. And so many of us, I know, and I'm including this, I've been a strong proponent of no, I don't want to do that, but I want to know more of who my people are. But my cousin did it, and she was able to find her birth father, which was huge. Okay. So why should people trust themselves even when people tell them they shouldn't do that? Why should
Cool.
they trust themselves?
Good question. Inherently, we have something that we call gut. And
Yes.
oftentimes, our gut, that intuition, will lead us in not only unfamiliar places, but unpopular places. And
Right.
if you can trust yourself, right, you trust your gut, your intuition to move forward. For example, I had nothing but my intuition on two things I want to talk about briefly. And that was I had to trust my gut that I didn't need to drink a whole lot. I didn't have any reason to know that I shouldn't. I just knew that I shouldn't, right? That was my gut. When I decided to look for my family, I only had my gut to think it's worth it because you just don't know what's going to be on the other side of that question mark. Trust yourself. Know yourself well enough. And that means you need to do some self searching, some asking of some questions, some digging into your own self to determine that, yes, I'm worthy of trusting my own self, my own thoughts, my own intuitions. Oftentimes in this thing that we call life, we don't we don't know who we can trust. But if we do some self searching, we can know ourselves, come to love ourselves, and then learn to trust ourselves. And that's a process. That doesn't happen overnight. That's indeed a process. But the reward is so great and it's so worth it to be able to do that, no matter what the naysayers say. Right? And it can be scary. Let me add that. When I went to search for my family, when I did the whole ancestry DNA thing, it was scary. I had a million and
Yeah.
one questions, and it can be painful. Let me use this as an
Oh,
example. When
without a
I
doubt.
started the journey of looking for my family, it was so long ago. Remember when libraries had microfilm? Remember when we
Yes.
I knew the area where my birth family lived in Indianapolis, and I went to microfilm and I was looking up the names or the addresses, and I found a family that lived in the area where I knew my birth family lived. And I went
Right.
knocking on the door, right? And it was so disappointing when they said, we're not them, because I didn't know they had moved, and we're not them, but we remember a family next door that had a little girl.
Hmm.
Well, in my mind, if they had a little girl, that meant they had a daughter after
Yeah.
me. And why
Right.
did they give me up? And then they had a daughter that they kept. Oh,
Yeah.
talk about heart. I cried. I'm like, they had another daughter. Well, when I met my family, I realized that was my little sister Birdie. She's my big sister, but that was Birdie. So they didn't have a child after me. But think about how I lived with that for about, for years, thinking that my mother had a baby after me that she kept, but gave me away. But my gut said, you got to keep on looking. You got to keep on digging. And even as a professor at the university, what I tell my students is don't stop at the first answer that you get. You keep on digging. You keep on
Exactly.
searching. You keep on researching. And you look at all things from multiple angles to get at the result that you need to get to. Right. And
Yep.
so that's what I did when I was looking for my family. And unbeknownst to me, they were looking for me. I had more information to go on. They didn't even have a name. My mother named me Aretha. And before she had me, don't you dare laugh. She named
Aretha Franklin.
me not Aretha, Aretha.
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 Okay, I
Aretha.
got it.
And they didn't have my adoptive name. They didn't know who adopted me. They didn't know anything. My sister Victoria wrote to Oprah, and there was a show called Find Your Family or something like that.
Yes.
And that show ended before she was able to make contact. And it looked like they had come to a dead end. But imagine how comforting it was for me to realize that my family was looking for me while I was
Mhm.
looking for them.
Looking for them. Yep.
That
And that's powerful. And oftentimes that is the way. And let's face it, sometimes people give children up because of young pregnancies or because of their financial standing, et cetera, et cetera. But oftentimes those that have to do that, they're in situations sometimes that they don't know any other way out and they just want the best for the child, so they do that. And so I see some comments in the chat. I'm going to take some comments. Wanda Cox says Dr. Bryant is a wonderful, powerful woman of truth, courage, and wisdom, and she is awesome. And we have another comment up here that I wanted to share with Angie. Thank you, Angie, for being here. She's currently in the hospital with her father, but she's tuning into the broadcast right here, and she's here in KC. She said, yes, know yourself and learn your strengths and weaknesses.
yeah.
And we're going to talk about why it's important to know your weaknesses and your strength as you're on this journey. And Erica, she said, I love this. God is amazing and is up to something. That's right. God is up to something great. And we're going to talk to you all about some of that greatness later on in the show. And Valerie says, start with the one in the mirror. I absolutely love that. Erica's joining us out of Georgia. What part of Georgia are you joining us from, Erica? Let us know. And Miss Birdie said, named after Aretha Franklin. Mom loved Aretha. And sometimes, back in those days, they might have just spelled things different. They might have meant Aretha. We don't know. So that's a good point, Miss Birdie. That's a good point. That's a good point. Marietta, Georgia. Erica is out of Marietta, Georgia. That's great. So we're going to circle back because we talked about the understanding our journey, and we talked about fear because fear is real. My cousin, when she found us, she was afraid. She was so afraid that she may be rejected. Her adoptive sister, she said, hey, will you talk to them? And so her adoptive sister got on the phone with my mom, from what I was told, and she talked to her. And then when she confirmed that she was, I think it was just a breath of fresh air because you always want to know where you come from. I remember my cousin, Dr. Tara White. She's a person that focuses on history. She's a historian, and I contacted her when I was in Japan, and I said, "Cuz, can you find out our my grandparents, their mom and dad, because I didn't know them because they were gone by the time I had come on the planet for this journey." Okay, and one day my cousin, she contacted me and she said, "Cuz, check your email." And I checked my email. My cousin Tara White, if you listen to the show, cuz um, she had gotten a copy of my grandmother's and grandfather's wedding marriage certificate, and it had my great grandparents, both sides, their names on there. And I just started crying because it's something special when you know where you come from.
Yes.
And there's nothing on this planet, I think, that ever makes that difference. So Angie talked about, and I'm going to go right back up to her comment because I want to go there. She talked about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. And sometimes we feel weak in these moments. But Doc, why is it so important for us as we're on this journey to find ourselves and to find people, our family? Why is it so important to know our strengths and weaknesses?
Because it's so easy to get stuck in doubt or fear. You mentioned it earlier. Fear
Yes, ma'am.
paralyzes, right? And so if I know my strengths, I can focus in on that inner fortitude that I have to
Yes.
through, to keep going in spite of oppression, depression, suppression, all of that. I can keep moving and I can build on my strength, but I got to know what are those things that naturally hold me back. What are those weaknesses that I have that I need to be aware of so that I don't succumb to them. In my darkest hour, the message I gave to myself was my right now is not my always.
Whoo, that's powerful.
Is not my always. So when it looked like I could not find my family and I would never know where I came from, my right now is not my always. When I was in
Doc,
bankruptcy court, and I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills, and I didn't know if my home was going to finish going through foreclosure and I was going to lose everything, my right now is not my always. In 2011, I lost my daughter at the age of 31. That was my heart, along with my son. And I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to continue to nurture him in the way he needed to be nurtured and take care
yes,
of me and deal with this significant loss. But I knew my right now in that dark moment was not going to be my always. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. The person who you had on a minute ago said that she is a truth seeker. I knew my truth would lead
yes.
me to light, and that's why I do. We're not talking about Griot Speaks right now, but my newest
Exactly.
brand is Griot Speaks because I too am
Yes.
a truth seeker. Because even the Bible lets us know that the
Say it.
truth would do what? All right, then, if I want freedom,
That's right.
if I want success, if I want to accomplish, I can't stay stuck in my right now. Because my right now may
Hello.
be painful, my right
Hello.
now may be dark, my
Hello.
right now may not look too good. But my right now, the truth is not it's not my always. It's not my not yet. My right now is not my not yet because I haven't moved into it, and it's not my always.
Yep, we gonna make that shirt. I see you, Miss Wanda. We got you. We gonna make that shirt, and we gonna make that shirt right away. And once we make that shirt, make sure y'all grab that shirt. So I want to go. I want to go right here. I want to go right here. I want to do two things though. First, before I do that, I'm gonna put something in the chat. I want you all to take a moment, and go to her website and go ahead and grab her book. Doc, put the other link in the Finding Peoples. Put the link in our private chat, and I'm gonna bring that up here. I wanted you to take the time to get this book, y'all.
Link to the
It's gonna
book.
change your life. It's gonna change your life. Yeah, put the link to the book in the chat, and I've shared the link over there. I want you all. This is where you can go. You can go and check her books out. Okay. You want to go right here. I put the links there. These are other books that she have. Okay. I Want My Groove Back, God's Way, The Truth Be Told, Heart Notes. I mean, just things that's going to enrich your life. Make sure you check out her
Now, if you
website. Go to
click on
Griot
product,
Speaks and check that out as well. Okay. This is the Griot Speaks. Make sure you come here and you check the website out. She has something for everyone that's trying, working hard to do their best in life. Okay. So she's got so many books, and we're going to be having her back multiple times so that you can get more familiar with her. And so, Doc, I want to take this moment as promised and go back to some comments because we got some comments in the chat, and I don't want to overlook that. So let me go
while
back to
you're
the
doing
chat.
that, what I want to
Yes,
say
dear.
is if you click click on products, under products,
Yes.
it says, it invites you to say, I want Finding Peoples. Go to products and click on that. And you see that first link. Yes, you can buy or you can pre-order Finding Peoples.
You see that? That's all you got to do. And this is the book, and this is her lovely family. Okay. So you want to go ahead and grab this book. Grab this book, because this book is not only going to help change your life, but it's going to help change the lives of people that you're connected with. Because you know what, Dr. Bryant, what I learned is that people have these things that we call feelings and emotions, and a lot of times they're not sure of how to express these feelings and emotions, and so they repress and push themselves away from that instead of bringing it to the forefront so that they can get clear about what they're feeling and how to solve some of the things that's been holding them back, that's been keeping them late at night, that's been making them cry, that's been making them feel pain that they just want to release.
Mm.
And this book will help you find your peoples. Why? Because this book is going to give you some aha moments. It's
Yes.
going to give you some moments of where you say, wow, that's happened to me too. Wow, this is a family's journey through 6 decades of separation and hope. And so we want to give you hope. So where you're separated, you can bring yourself back together again. And it doesn't matter how many decades of separation you've been through, you can find your way back and find your people too. So there it is. Make sure you grab your book today. And when you grab your book, I want you to go ahead and say, hey, I got my book. And when you get your book, we're going to do something special for you as well. And so I want to go back to one of the comments in the chat, if I may. And Miss Hilton says, I remember you telling me about your story when I first met you. But it is such an amazing story for so many reasons. Another testament to truth. So, Doc, why is it important for us to tell our truth? Because for many of us, when people had babies out of wedlock or had to give the child up, they made it a taboo. They didn't want to talk about it. They pushed it under the rug, or we're going to send you down south, or we're going to send you out east, or out west, or up north. We're not going to talk about it. Why is it critical for us to tell our truth?
Because truth helps us to approach shame, to overcome shame, right? So, in particular, in the Black family now, that child born out of wedlock, or that uncle who was a pedophile, or that aunt who was addicted to drugs, or that we have so many family secrets, right? Even adoption, family secrets. We don't want anybody to know, right? Nobody can know. Well, not only will knowing help to uncover stuff, but it helps to stabilize. See, by being transparent, I not only help other people, I firm myself into the greatness that I am. And
Hello.
one of the things I teach in Griot Speaks is that we are the original genius. All of us have genius inside of us. But if I'm living in a world that is giving me a message of don't say this, don't do that, don't say that, don't disclose that, hide that, then I'm suppressing my genius. I got to give my genius an opportunity to come out and to explode and to live and to be vibrant, right? And to make a difference. I was always ashamed of my adoption. My adoptive parents are really old enough to be my grandparents, right? And there was always some shame attached to that. They weren't like young and pretty and vibrant and vivacious and all of that. And I was always ashamed of that. Girl, please. They instilled some things in me that I can grab onto now. And I can say, okay, because of some seeds that they planted, I'm now able to firmly stand in my own truth and march forward with confidence. I don't have to be ashamed. I don't have to live in
Hello.
fear. I don't have to wonder. Why? Because I sought truth, and that truth really did set me free. So yeah, we got to push past all of the naysayers, push past the self-doubt, push past the self-hatred, push past all of the negativity so that we can stand firmly rooted in that truth that we seek. Right? But you got to go after it. And sometimes you got to go after it in spite of the pain, right? In spite of. So, we need to keep moving and keep pushing for truth.
So I want to just say two things. Two things. You need to push past. When you push, you have to pass on positive energy. You have to pass on support. You have to pass on love. And then we encourage you to push past,
Mm,
past the things that have held you back. You have to push past the things that you're afraid of.
yeah.
You have to push past the naysayers. You have to push past the naysayers, even if you've been that naysayer for yourself. You got to push past that and push past and pass that positive energy as you push past that positive energy onto yourself.
Yes,
You've got
absolutely.
to do it because if you don't do it, no one else will. Miss Birdie say, that's right. You got to push past that. And
Yes.
Wanda said, amen. That's right. So if you're ready to push past, some of you put it in the chat, push past, push
Mhm.
past that on, pass that positive energy on, and then push past your past. Push
And
past that. Put
what I
that in
want
the
to
chat.
add to
And
that,
if you don't want to put that in the chat, go ahead and put a 100 in the comment. Go ahead and put a 100 in the comment. That means you're on board. That
ab-
means you're ready and you're going to push past and you're going to push. And as you push, you're going to pass on that positive energy,
mm,
not just to yourself,
mm,
but someone you know, someone you like, someone you love, someone you don't know, someone you may not trust, someone that may have grievously offended you, but you got to pass that on because what you put out, you bring back to you.
okay. And what I will add to that is that in the book, you learn how Chuck, our brother, pushed past. You learn how Birdie pushed past. You learn how Victoria pushed past. You learn how Anthony pushed past. And how Dee Dee pushed past. And now they're in, all of them, me too, but we're all in a position now to pass that experience on, to pass that knowledge on, to pass that victory. See, that's what
Oh,
we're trying to get to, victory and success, right? And
exactly.
achievements and all of that. And you learn that, you glean that from each of our stories.
Exactly. And I absolutely love it. And I want to bring Miss Laverne's comment up here. She said, it's heartwarming to hear this reunion story. Most importantly, I respect how this family has used this story to demonstrate this message of restoration. And so this is what we do at Books to Boom Your Business. This is a part of what we do, helping you to share your stories from your books because someone may have a story just like yours, but if they don't see your book, they don't read your book, they'll never know your story. And so we also want to say, Laverne, you sharing some great tips here. She said formal and informal adoption has historically been a means of survival for our race and on this continent. But most times, our enslaved ancestors never saw their kin again once the family was separated, and that is so true. And so we are coming together as a day to say, "Come on, let's bring it back together. Let's bring ourselves together. Say it loud, my sister. That's right. I'm loving each and every moment of this. And so I'm putting the chat here. I want you to please, please, please make sure you connect with her and get this book. And then Miss Birdie said, God is up to something. Our oldest sister, Dee Dee,
Yes.
recently learned she has another sister on her father's side. So she's blessed to have two new sisters. Look at God. And
Yes.
yes, and look
That's
at
true.
all of you that are here. And we
Yeah.
so appreciate you for what you're sharing. And as we begin to wrap our show up for the day, we want to welcome you also to come and be a guest. We'll be bringing Dr. Maxine Bryant back to the show, and she'll be bringing some family members and some friends to the show as we grow, because that's super important. But before we go, Dr. Bryant is going to share a poem. And while she is keying that poem up, I want you to continue to share this broadcast out. For all of you that may be just joining us, we appreciate you. We absolutely love having you here. And for those of you that's been along for the ride today, it's been on fire, and you all has helped that to be. And so we thank you and we love you. Dr. Bryant, take it
Before
away.
I share this poem, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Laverne Collins, who's a therapist, and she wrote a book called Overlooked. And it really is about the unaddressed traumas and the unaddressed things that happen in Black families that many therapists don't want to address. And some of the
Yes.
things that we talk about in Finding Peoples are some of the same type of things that she mentions from a therapeutic perspective, a therapist perspective in that particular book. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her. So when I met my family and I got a chance to see my mother, remember I asked about growing up. How do you feel growing up and you don't know who you look like? You look like nobody you've met, right? And I saw a picture of my mom for the first time, and it brought tears to my eyes because then I was able to know who I looked like. And so I wrote this poem and I want to share it as we wrap up today. This morning, the sky was a little bluer. The sun shone a little brighter. My vision for life is a little clearer, all because of what I saw in the mirror. This morning, the air felt a little crispier. The bird song sounded a little chirpier. The smile on my face is a little wider, all because of what I saw in the mirror. This morning, my steps were a little lighter. My countenance was a little happier. The Spirit of God felt a little nearer, all because of what I saw in the mirror. For today, you see, I know the face that looked back at me was none other than my mother. The woman who carried me in her womb. The woman whose selfless love rightly presumed that life would be better for me if she gave me to another family. The face I now see in the mirror is regal. That face belongs to Dorothy Jean Peoples. Today, the word mother is a little dearer, all because of the face looking back at me in the mirror.
Come on, everybody, put your virtual hands together and let's give Dr. Maxine Bryant some love. Come on, everybody. We absolutely, absolutely love that. Make sure you get your copy. Make sure you get your copy today. Uh, let's make sure that we are connecting our stories and we're connecting our lives to the people that love us and that need us most. Grab your copy today, Finding Peoples. This is an amazing book, A Family's Journey Through 6 Decades of Separation and Hope by the illustrious Dr. Maxine L. Bryant. I look forward for you to get your book. Once you get your book, we're going to be coming back soon, and we're going to be reading some excerpts from the book. And we're going to welcome each and every one of you to join us on a live Zoom where we'll be going through the book and helping people help themselves to ignite and take flight in every area of their life. Thank you so much, Doc. And we have so many comments in the chat. We absolutely love all of you. Thank you for sharing this. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Share your comments. Go to YouTube today and leave some comments there. I see all you, Daniela Roman. Hey there. I'm in a book with Daniela Roman and her amazing husband, my brother from another mother, Emilio, and they've been supporting us all the while we've been out here with Dad, as he's been healing himself. So thank you so much, and that's gonna take off in September. So I'll be sharing more on our shows. And in fact, Emilio and Daniela will be on the show talking about the upcoming book that we have so many authors in this book, and it's incredible. So thank you so much. I see you and I love you. So listen, everybody, we are super happy to have you here. Wow, powerful goosebumps. Yes, I know. Super awesome. So remember, make sure you join us week in and week out here on Books to Boom Your Business, where we're helping people just like you to boom not only their lives and their businesses, but to boom the lives of other people too. And so we want to invite you to an upcoming event that we have, and this event is going to knock your socks off. And we're looking, and who knows, maybe Dr. Bryant, I think we spoke a little bit about this, will be joining us here, and I'm going to bring this up for you. It's the Ignite Your Life for Life Summit, and the Ignite Your Life for Life Summit is coming up, and it is called When Men Exhale. When Men Exhale. Many of you know that we have done multiple summits, and the summits are primarily for, we've done it for cancer victims, we've done it for people with autism, we've done it for domestic violence, we've done it for Gabe's Heart, and a portion of our proceeds goes to Gabe's Heart Foundation to help us get defibrillators to put them in highly trafficked areas where many of our Black and brown children are, but their life sometimes is stripped away because we don't have take care of them until first responders come process. But now, because of Kim Jacobs, the Kim Jacobs Show, and all the board members and all of you around the world that's helping us help Gabe's Heart Foundation, we've been able to buy defibrillators and put them in high impact areas so that we can keep hearts beating. And so for those of you that help us, I just want to say thank you. And so we want to share this briefly with you so that you can join us. Make sure you grab the book. I wanted to show that first. Make sure you join us in September 12th and 13th. The 12th, we'll have a live fireside chat where we'll be speaking to men and speaking to all of you around the world as we talk about how to ignite your life for life summit, how to do it, how to be a part of it, but also when men exhale. So I want to share this with you now. Here we go.
September 12th and 13th for our first Ignite Your Life for Life Hybrid Summit, themed When Men Exhale, at the Patterson Public Library, 250 Broadway, Patterson, New Jersey. Meet the first half of our powerful igniters joining us for the September Summit. Ashokam Hudson, founder of Fathatorg Inc. Honorable Remy Chukwunyeri, entrepreneur, startups ecosystem builder. Councilman Louis Velez, 5th Ward, Patterson, New Jersey. Co-host Timothy T.O. Clay, leadership coach, 4 times best-selling author. Co-host Francisca Nunes, domestic violence coach, human rights advocate, diplomat. Come be one of our speakers. Spaces are limited. Scan the QR code and secure your speaker spot today. See you there.
And we absolutely love you. So we want to just say thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough for what you've shared and what you've done here today. And so with no further ado, Dr. Bryant, we are going to leave the last word with you, Dr. Bryant. So let's leave the last word with you. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to move that out. Okay, let me see here, Dr. Bryant. Add us back to the broadcast. There we go. Here we are, everybody. There we go. Up close and personal, y'all. Up close and personal. So, yeah. Dr. Bryant, I'd like for you to have your final word of wisdom for the show today, and to all of all of you, all of our viewers, all of our supporters all around the world. We just thank you, we love you, and we appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you at the Ignite Your Life for Life Summit. We also look forward to seeing you at an upcoming book signing that we're going to be doing that's coming your way. We'll tell you more about it. So Doc don't even know. I'm just sharing this with her today. So make sure you come out and you support her at our upcoming book signing. Doc, take it away with your final words of wisdom for the show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, Dr. Riche. I appreciate you so very much. Like I said at the onset, you and I have some kindred spirits, so it's always a joy to come alongside and be on your shows. I appreciate that. I think in closing, what I would say to people is don't let fear paralyze you. Wherever you are in life, that is not your always. So if you're down, you know up is coming. And even if you up, don't take that for granted, right? Because your down may be coming and you need to be prepared for that. Even in your darkest moments, talk to yourself and give yourself positive messages. That's what the prodigal son did. When he was in the pig pen, he wasn't talking to the pigs, he was talking to himself, and he remembered what life was like. Remember that your right now is never, ever, ever your always. Give yourself positive messages, because sometimes you're the only one you really need to listen to that's around. So be strong and keep faithful, stay faithful, and be strong. You don't know what good things are right around the corner.
Exactly. Wow, that's super powerful. So we'd like all of you to take a moment to put your number 100 in the chat. Put your number 100 in the chat. We know you love the show, and continue to support us and support Dr. Bryant. So until we meet again, we'll see you soon. Be blessed. Don't stress. Don't take no mess. And always do your best as you ignite and take flight in books to boom your business area of your life. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring that bell so you won't miss a thing. And we'll see you on the next episode of Books to Boom Your Business. If you want to be a guest on the show, please connect with us at lotus@lotusricheignitesyou.com. To Boom Your Business brings to you authors, speakers, entrepreneurs who have powerful books that will make and keep your business and your personal lives booming.